Welcome back, everyone, and thank you so much for staying with us. Mr. Daniel Bwala, a lawyer who is based in Abuja, the nation's capital, is in our Abuja studio, and Mr. Kaudi Ogundamisi is in London. He's a Nigerian-based, Nigerian who is based in London, in the United Kingdom. He's a right activist and a political analyst. Many thanks, gentlemen, for staying with us on the program and sharing your thoughts. So they've been speaking about the anti-corruption war and Mr. Magu's job at the EFCC. Let's get back to the conversation now. Let me quickly come back to you, Mr. Ogundamisi. As it stands right now, if you look at what the EFCC says they have done, first and foremost, one would say, when there is a controversy over one job or the other, don't you think it's just easy for the federal government to say, look, enough of the controversy, let's find another person to do the job? Must it be Mr. Magu that will be in this job?
Look, what you are having is corruption fighting back. And not just that, you have a Senate that is undermining the executive powers of the presidency. If they want to have executive powers, they should contest elections. They should go to INEC and contest to either be president or vice president. Lawmaking is about representing and articulating the interests of the Nigerian people. There are multiple challenges facing us as a people that this Senate do not seem to adhere themselves to. But they just probably think that they would want to allocate resources. They would want to dip their hands into the national treasury. They would want to arrogate and appropriate powers to themselves. It is in the interest of Nigerians for the presidency to entrench himself within the Nigerian people, fight this anti-corruption war, call the bluff of these so-called lawmakers who have so far not proven to represent the interests of the Nigerian people. Look, what is killing us in this country? The agitation is as a result of abject poverty, corruption, massive looting of our national treasury. And these men and women who allocate themselves our resources, who decide digging boreholes, who went into the money meant to build roads, in the case of the Ministry of Works, they are appropriating to themselves money to dig boreholes instead of facing structural projects that would enrich our people. The presidency should call the bluff. If Magu is doing a good job, the presidency should let him go ahead. Do you
think, Mr. Ogundamisi, do you think Mr. Magu is doing a good job? Would you say, for example, if you are the president today in Nigeria, would you say Mr. Magu is doing a good job, considering some of the myriad of cases on the ground, anti-corruption cases on the ground, and some of them that have been lost?
Magu is definitely not 100% perfect. He has not delivered on the mandate on the basis of 100%. But the fact that he's actually making these legislators and some of the looters in the society uncomfortable, the fact that TSA is working, the fact that people now know that there is an anti-corruption agency that is on top of its game, it's something good for our country. What we need to do is to strengthen the EFCC, is to support them. In the cases where they do all these media trials, it's for the National Assembly to work with them, not sabotage them, not trying to appropriate the power of the presidency to themselves. And no one who is going to head the EFCC would have a perfect job, will deliver perfectly with the kind of institutions we have, with the judiciary that is almost compromised, with judges that are being indicted day in, day out, with the police officers that do not have the equipment to actually prosecute anti-corruption cases.
All right. Let me ask the lawyer here, Mr. Bwala. The EFCC did say earlier, end of last month, that the EFCC has recorded 113 convictions in 6 months. As it stands now, on one hand, is the issue of just how successful is Mr. Magu since he got into office, or the EFCC under Mr. Magu since he got into office. And on another hand, is his performance at the Senate. Does he really deserve that job if you are to assess him, Mr. Bwala?
Well, if you ask for my assessment, I will honestly tell you I believe that Magu deserves that position as the chairman. I have seen in him honesty. I've seen in him doggedness. I've seen in him commitment. However, if you're asking for me to assess anti-corruption war, I will not shy away from telling you there is a major setback. Now, the number of cases that have been won excellent news to hear. But you may be surprised that maybe less than 5% are actual conviction on cases that interest public policy, which are cases of high profile in nature. If you talk about his performance on the floor of the Senate on the day of the interview, I will hold the view that even if he was unable to answer all of the questions they asked him, it is not material to determine his rejection at that time, because what was to be considered during that period was not that few moments that he had with them, but the overall activities of the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
We probably will remember, just if I quickly throw this in because the little time we have, if we remember, there was an SSS report, a DSS report, on Mr. Magu, stating that this man is not fit for the job. And when the Senate says they rejected him, should we be thinking that is a witch hunt of some sort, of a political witch hunt of some sort, on Mr. Magu of that job by the EFCC?
Is the crux of the matter. And that's the point that maybe viewers will have to look at. We have to respect institutions. And I said it, that this administration has clearly shown to Nigerians that they believe in the rule of law. Otherwise, the presidency would have prevailed over the DSS to say, do as I wish and clear him. But you see, having regard to the important role that the DSS play in our national unity and development and progress, it will, and having special access and intel, access to information that we do not have, you cannot just throw away an allegation like that. And having sent that report and twice maintained the same position, it will only send a good signal if the presidency respects that and take Magu and bring someone else. The reason is because if Magu continued to operate as the chairman of the EFCC, when an established institution that has special access, more than all of us, have a different view about him, it would not be possible for us to succeed, because the DSS and the EFCC are supposed to work together and cooperate for the overall interest. Look at the role that the DSS have been playing assisting EFCC.
Because we are out of time now. Let me allow Mr. Ogundamisi to give his final thought on this one. Just in about 30 seconds, Mr. Ogundamisi, if you will anchor, what do you think it should be done? Must we retain Mr. Magu, considering what the senator said, that look, if you do not respect our stance on this, we might suspend anything that has to do with nominations and confirmations of nominees. Just in 30 seconds.
The Nigerian Senate is showing its hand. The Senate president is actually more about its ambitions, about becoming the president of the country. And this issue is not about Magu. This is about a power grab. An attempt to power grab. And it's important for the Senate to just play its business of legislating for the Nigerian people and putting the interests of the people over its own interest. The presidency should just let Magu continue with his job until he's indicted and he can no longer continue as the chairman of the EFCC.
All right. Mr. Kayode Ogundamisi, political analyst and rights activist, speaking to us from London. Mr. Daniel Buala, an Abuja-based Nigerian lawyer. Many thanks for your thoughts, gentlemen. Well, that's how far we can go on the program tonight. Many thanks for being part of it. On behalf of your team, I'm Sean Kimale. Bye for now.